Yes, sir. Yes.
So good evening. My name is Uday Birje. Today I'm delighted to be sharing some of the insights into innovation, startups, and transformation and digital economy. And I would like to thank Sri Narendra Joshi ji, Dr. Narendra Joshi ji, for giving me an opportunity to present about startups today. I have a little bit agenda in the beginning so that all of you know that what I'm going to be talking about. I have quite a number of slides, so I will utilize the slides to give you a picture about the scenario of startups today. And I was told that specifically today the talk revolves because on the occasion of Azadi ka Amrut Mahotsav, which is the 75th anniversary of India's independence. I'm delighted to have this opportunity to speak on this occasion. So basically the theme of this presentation is startup to scale up. So it is a fairly, I would say, intensive topic because startups in many ways scale up your life, your career, your business, your vision, your goals. So that is what I'm going to talk about. And I have a number of subtopics under startups, which I will give a feel to all of you about what it actually means. Here is the agenda. So why are we talking about startups today? There are many reasons. Some of them are technology reasons. Some of them is the transformation of the economy, transformation of technologies, transformation of the country itself, and that is what is going on. So you will understand a little bit about what kind of transformation is going on. Then innovation. Startups without innovation, in my view, is meaningless. Without innovations, startup is just about being an entrepreneur, which means like opening a small business and running it for profits. But innovation is absolutely required to be successful in a startup. We will look at that. Then what is digital economy? Little bit about sharing economy, experience economy. These are new topics. And also the most underrated topic is leadership. The startup founders need to demonstrate high caliber leadership to be successful. We will look at one or two, I would say, slides on the leadership topic. Then specifically on coming to startup and entrepreneurship. What is the difference between a startup and being an entrepreneur? And what are the skills and the jobs required today? And what are the skills and the jobs today which are driving today's economy, especially the digital economy? Path to grow and success, both as an entrepreneur as well as a technology person. So the entire agenda revolves around startups, but I'm giving some kind of a background so that you understand why startups. Okay. Digital economy. What is the digital economy? Everybody talks digital India, digital technologies. Almost everything revolves around digital. But what is the digital transformation that is going on? In almost in every aspect of our life, or almost every aspect of our contact with different organizations or people or institutions, there is a digital content. So let us understand with one example. I'm giving you, actually I'm taking two examples. One is like a holistic general example, and then a specific case study I'm going to talk about, where there is a digital transformation happening. Look at this slide. This is a classic picture of a desk, an office desk, which used to be some time back, maybe about 20 years back. My office desk used to look like this. We used to have a desktop PC, we used to have a fax machine, a small clock, a digital clock radio, a dictionary, some kind of a translation book from one language to another, a notice board with maybe some of the pin-up of actions or whatever, on some photographs, your picture of a pet or your god or your family or whatever, and maybe so many other tools like a scissor and a stapler and a calculator and so many other tools. This is how a desk used to look like. Does it look like this today? Let us look at what it looks like. Look at the transformation. Look at the transformation of the desk. And it is all this has happened in 20 years. Did we expect this? Just look at it and then realize. See how the various tools or the objects on the desk are disappearing, and what is it getting converted to? Almost everything has disappeared. Now, finally, what are we left with? We are left with a beautiful laptop, could be an Apple or it could be any other company's machine, and a small smartphone. Look at this difference between on the left side and the right side. This is the classic transformation of the office desk in 20 years. Did we ever expect that my notice board in the office will be converted into a Facebook, because or like a LinkedIn or like an Instagram? I don't nowadays. I remember almost 15, 20 years back, I used to keep because I'm spiritual, I used to keep a God's photograph, like a Vinayak, Siddhi Vinayak, or Sai Baba, or any, and so many, irrespective of your faith, people used to keep the God's photo. But all that has disappeared because it is converted into those pictures are now in Facebook or Instagram or any of the other social media sites. This is the fantastic transformation of a simple office desk from on the left side to the right side. Do you think in 20 more years it will remain like this? Office desk and a smartphone? Look at this. Next slide will show you whether in 20 years what is going to happen. Observe this as compared to the last slide. Fantastic. What has happened? Even the laptop and the smartphone has disappeared. So what it means is the software apps that were there in the previous slide, which converted all your objects into software apps, even that will disappear. Artificial intelligence is going to eat up the apps, which means they almost like there will be no device on your desktop at all. You will be possibly wearing some kind of a wearable computer with which you can operate so many things, or there will be a small device like in the form of a USB drive or something somewhere kept in your wallet, or maybe in your bag or somewhere, and that artificial intelligence will operate all your normal functions. So this is the transformation that is going to happen. Okay. So here is another very simple example of another transformation. How the industry, how the entire Indian Railways has transformed in about 20, 30 years. And I was fortunate enough to be have played a part of this transformation in one of the companies that I work for. In the early 80s or the 90s, the railways, I'm sure many of you in Mumbai who regularly almost on a daily basis travel in a train used to have a card based ticket, which used to be a very manual kind of a ticket. And then from there we moved to late 90s to 2000. We moved to a window. I mean, where there used to be a computer operator, and then he or she used to print a ticket and give it to you. And then for the long distance trains in 2000 to 2015, we used to book the tickets right from your home or office or whatever. But we required a good internet connection and a laptop or a desktop. But today, 2015 onwards, we are able to book a ticket to anywhere in the country using just an app, sitting wherever you want. You can sit in an airport and book a train ticket. You can sit in a park and book a train ticket. You don't have to be in front of a computer at home, or you don't have to go to the railway station at all. This is available even for the local trains as well as the long distance train. What will happen in the future? You know that there is many of you, at least the Mumbai people or the Western region people, should know that, will know that there is a bullet train under construction from Mumbai to Ahmedabad. So that in the future, you won't even need a ticket. You just walk into the train will the cameras will automatically, with facial recognition or whatever, or some kind of artificial intelligence apps, it'll recognize you and book the ticket, and automatically the fare will be deducted from your bank account. So this is the transformation that is going on. So what does this transformation mean to the industry? Means there's a whole ecosystem of innovation or innovative partners that will revolve around these fantastic applications. For example, like I gave you a smartphone based ticket booking, which is available since the last 4 or 5 years, or maybe 6, 7 years. Now you can book. There are many private vendors using apps. You can book the meal you want from Mumbai to Baroda. If you are going, in one of the stations in between, you say that I want particular meal. It will be delivered in at that particular station, to that particular bogie, to the particular seat, all using the apps. And this is not happening from the government. The app is developed by private vendors who are startups. I know many such catering or food companies who are delivering food across the country to on the trains. This is just one example. So you all know how Swiggy, Zomato, and so many other companies are delivering to our home. Same way it will be delivered to your train seat. Okay, this is the transformation. So startups are playing a major role in this transformation. Okay, let's move little bit technologically higher. What is happening today? All of us are spending so much time on the computers. We are spending time on social media apps, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, or so many other apps, Twitter, whatever. Whereas what is happening? Machines are getting more intelligent. Robots are coming in. There are software robots. There are hardware robots, and all these innovations are being driven by startups. Okay, I just gave a more maybe on the lighter side to help you understand that today the job of the youngsters has significantly become easier because we have all these kind of machines which have become more intelligent. Okay. Here, this is me. I mean, I just wanted to, show you that robots are real. It is not just in what you read in your textbooks or in the newspapers, or where somewhere you see some trials or whatever. Today robots are doing some real work. There are robots being deployed, no doubt, on a trial basis in banks. They are being deployed in tourist sites as guides, who will come and along with you like a guide, and talk about the tourist site, talk about the heritage and architecture of those particular site in the language that you want. Okay, so what is a robot? It's a reprogrammable, nothing but a almost equivalent to human being, but it's a mechanical device. It's multifunctional. It is sensible for the environment, and it is intelligent. I mentioned artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is what goes into a robot. It means what is the intelligence that we have is different from the intelligence that goes into a robot. What goes into a robot is an intelligence which is artificial, which means developed by human beings, and we have programmed it using various tools. Okay, so artificial intelligence is not anything, it's not like rocket science today. Today we are being impacted by artificial intelligence in many ways. If you people are some little bit of technologically savvy people, you know that there are devices called Google Home, Alexa, Siri, and so many such apps and devices. They're all running on artificial intelligence. E-commerce sites like Flipkart and Amazon, they use artificial intelligence apps to deliver the products and the services that you like as per your taste. Airports. I have still not seen in Mumbai airport, but in Bangalore airport, there is a facial recognition based security check, which means you don't need a boarding pass. You just register yourself. One particular airline, that is, I think, Tata Vista Airlines, you register there on their website with your photograph. So when you go to the particular counter, it automatically recognizes your face, and then you can go and go to the counter and choose your seat. Similarly, search engines like Google and various social media sites, they're all using social media. They're all using artificial intelligence. And why I'm repeating here, all these creates an ecosystem of startups. Okay. Like, for example, Facebook. Facebook has a facial recognition application. If you must have noticed that when you put your own picture, let's say you have traveled to Goa, on a holiday, or you visited some temple on a holiday, or whatever it is, you post the picture on the Facebook, automatically it will recognize and tag you on the post. That is nothing but artificial intelligence. And using these apps, there are so many startups who are using these facilities or using these tools to market products for you or anybody else. So artificial intelligence is already be impacting in a small way or whatever way in our daily life. Some of you may not even have realized it, but it is already being impacting. Okay, like I even yesterday I wanted to go for some wildlife trip. Okay, I did some search for some forest resort somewhere in Karnataka. Okay, on Google I searched. Immediately after half an hour, I started getting ads on Facebook of forest resorts available in Karnataka in that particular region. So how is that possible? Through artificial intelligence. How is Google and does Facebook linked? Yes, Google and Facebook are linked on your laptop or in your mobile phone. Because when you register, you give your email ID or your Google account, or there's already Chrome in your laptop or your smartphone. So it is all linked. So this is artificial intelligence. So there is an ecosystem of various private startups who are working around these applications to provide solutions. So these are all great examples of innovation that is going on by startups. We will look at it in detail. There is another beautiful example. I think you must know that robots is no longer just a dream or whatever. It's real. It's real, and in a couple of years, you will see a lot of these machines being deployed in multiple areas. I am myself. I'm part of many forums where we are recommending investments to robotic companies for being deployed in various locations. Look at this, a short video. So the beauty of this particular video is that there are two robots who are working in tandem. We have seen all these years, till recently, one robot we are able to control very well, but now it's two. So very soon it's going to be multiple robots. We will have maybe an entire factory floor or maybe an entire mall being completely controlled by robots. So this is the progression, this is the transformation that it is eventually going to happen very soon. So all this constitutes to digital economy. I have some more examples of what digital economy is all about. So before we get into the details of digital economy, let's look at what is innovation. If you ask me, there has to be innovation in almost in every sphere of our life, not just in your job, but you have to innovate yourself to stay ahead of maybe the industry, maybe your competitors in terms of your business, or maybe even in your competitors, even if you're searching for a job, there will be no job, you will be the only person who has applied. There will be 20 more people. How do you stay ahead of them? You have to innovate and stay ahead of them with different and new skills. That's what is going to be the future. Okay, let's look at what is innovation. Before innovation, there is a difference. I think all of us, especially for the younger the viewers here, like the college students, or maybe people who are studying engineering or degree, or maybe even lower classes. From the college can give you only knowledge. Knowledge will be in bits and pieces, like what it is shown here. Okay, but what you really need in your career or in your working life is experience, which means experience, of course, it takes time. People like us, or people like Narendra ji, we all have experience. What are we doing here? We are sharing our experience. So only if you have your experience, you can connect the dots here with the knowledge that you gain from your college. So the message here is, please spend time with experienced people to understand what are the various challenges, what are the ways of innovating, what are the ways of doing things differently, or ways of leadership tips, or whatever it is. Go beyond what the college teaches you. You need to spend time with experienced people. Get mentored. Only if you today, almost everybody says that I want 1 year, 2 year experience. Nobody, of course, once you get out of college, you're fresh. But at least you can learn some skills from experienced people, which can be deployed, which can be used in your jobs. So that's the difference between knowledge and experience. The reason I put this is what will help you innovate. If you have some experience need not come from only from experienced people. When you go to a market and you see some vegetable guy using a new device, or using some new technology to grow some organic vegetables, that's experience. Okay, and let's understand what's the difference between knowledge and experience. By definition, knowledge is information and skills acquired through experience or education. This is what you get. Knowledge you get from your institutions, or from reading, okay, from your professor or from your teacher. However, experience is defined as the knowledge or skill acquired by a period of practical experience of something, which means when you go for an internship, or when you spend time in a laboratory, or when you do some experiment at home, or when you do some trial, maybe whatever, some software programming on your computer. That is how you get experience. It is not just by working. So experience plays an important role in innovation. Knowledge can be taught, unlike experience. Nobody can teach you experience. You have to experience it yourself. Only if you spend time, you gain the experience. Okay, knowledge is easy. You can mug up, or you can read day and night. You can read, pass the exam and pass 100 out of 100 or 90 out of 100. You gain knowledge, but experience takes patience, and you have to really be passionate to gain that experience. Okay, let's look at what is innovation. Innovation is the process and outcome of creating something new, which is also of value. Please remember that the video of the robot I showed earlier, that's an innovation. But that innovation is not doing anything useful, or if it is not of any value, it is useless. That is not an innovation. It is something which can be kept in let us say, in a museum. So if that same robot is able to do some, let's say it can be deployed in a defense environment, in the border, or it can be deployed for, do some kind of testing or whatever it is, then it is valued. Then it is the innovation of value. Okay, so just remember that when you innovate, when you do something new, it has to be of value. That is why I have highlighted value. It has to have some kind of a value. It can be value, can be commercial as well. It should be able to give you profits for the company that you are in. Okay, here look at the difference between innovation or a leader and a follower. Many of you, all of you, I'm sure everybody wants to have an Apple phone. Look at in 2007, Apple and Nokia. I'm sure everybody knows Nokia. Nokia was the leader. They were far ahead. 110 billion was their market cap as compared to Apple, 104 billion. But now what has happened? Apple, in fact, now this is of September 2020. As of today, 1 year later, they're almost about 3 trillion is the market cap. Why? Because they're innovating. They're coming out with newer products and applications. Whereas Nokia stopped innovating. They're going down. Okay. So when you innovate, you become a leader. When you innovate, you become a leader individually or as a company or a startup or whatever. That is why innovation is very, very important. Even for a country like India, we need to innovate. Otherwise, how long will we be importing products from various countries, from China or US or France or Germany or whatever? Only if we innovate. Youngsters today, why are we spending so much time with the youngsters? So that the youngsters can innovate and come out with newer product that can really compete and become global leaders. This is a classic example, which is the simplest example because everybody knows about Nokia and Apple. So if you innovate, you'll be a leader, like here, Apple. Otherwise, you'll be a number 2, number 3, number 4. You'll always be a follower. If you're a leader, it's very difficult for anybody to catch up. Whereas follower, it's very easy for a leader to kill a follower. Kill means kill the company. Okay. Further, what is innovation? Innovation comes about through new combination made by an entrepreneur, resulting in a new product, new process, opening of new market, new ways of organizing the business, new process of supply. So innovation need not be just developing a new robot. That alone is not innovation. Even identifying new sources of raw material for the product that you are going to build, that is also innovation. New methods of recruiting people with some newer HR processes, that's also innovation, especially if you are employee intensive company, the large companies which hire in thousands. So innovation can be in anything, a new product process, in identifying a new market, or organizing a new business, or new sources of supply. So this is a slide. So I'm just putting this especially for the younger crowd to ensure that you understand the difference between innovation and invention. Okay, there is a big difference. Innovation is a progression of invention. Okay, invention, invention is something completely creating a new product, completely new. Okay, let us look at the examples here. Look at on the left side. Graham Bell invented telephone, but what did Apple and Samsung and do? They created smartphones or the normal mobile phones. So what Samsung and Apple did is innovation. What Graham Bell or AT&T that time did is invention. I think the first car was invented by Ford. Okay, and the newest electric car is from Tesla. Tesla has innovated, Ford invented. Similarly, on the internet, the creation of internet itself was an invention. Whereas all the apps, whether it is Uber or Facebook or Netflix or whatever, these are all inventions, innovations. Let's look at a little bit about sharing economy. Okay. I think the sharing economy, as the name suggests, sharing a common platform itself means, a sharing economy. While individuals have traditionally often seen ownership as the most desirable way to have access to products, increasing numbers of consumers are paying to temporarily access or share products and services rather than buy or own them. Okay. For example, shared economy, the best example today, the most common example all of us use. If I can't afford a car, I use Uber or Ola or so many other, shared cabs. That is a shared economy. Ola, Zomato, and the various other food apps. They're all part of shared economy. Some of you, I'll share some examples here. So this is how the other transformation is happening. People don't want to own cars. I know many youngsters in the 20s who don't want to own cars because it's cumbersome to keep it in a garage. There's no space. You have to take it to the service station every 3 or 4 months or whatever, and then you need to drive yourself. No parking. The easiest thing to do is use a Uber, and you can in today even a company like Ola also offers the most fanciest cars. You can book a BMW through Ola. You can enjoy the whole day in a BMW or a Mercedes. So why do you need a car? Why do you want to own a car? You're additionally paying for, yes, not everybody wants to do that way, but many people are slowly transforming to that kind of a facility, which means that is what is shared economy. Similarly, various other facilities are available. Airbnb, people don't want to stay in all the fancy hotels which are charging 15,000, 20,000. Beautiful bungalows available even in places like Pondicherry, Mahabalipuram. So I'm surely in the western coast also, or in Kerala, or in Karnataka, all under Airbnb and so many other similar. These are all startups. Okay, Uber, Airbnb, Netflix, they're all startups. Netflix, they started by couriering video tapes. If I wanted to watch a latest movie, the tapes or in fact DVDs, they used to courier DVDs. When I was in US, I have seen, you can order a DVD and then they will courier it to your house. It will take one day, next day it will come. But today, you can stream whatever movie, latest movie, especially because of this pandemic. I think the latest movies are all getting released on Netflix and so many other platforms. Similar, Facebook, Alibaba. So these are all shared economy. Okay, this is the way many people are preferring to do business. Many people are preferring to buy or use products. We will see a little bit more examples of that. What all can be shared? Anything can be shared today. It's not just Ola, Uber, cars, accommodation, Airbnb. We saw camera, lens. Why am I bringing this? I'm a fairly avid wildlife photographer, and in wildlife photography we need expensive lenses which I cannot afford. So what do? I use the platforms, many platforms like Lensowl, and there are so many of them. And I hire a lens for a couple of days. When I go to the forest, I hire them. They deliver it to the forest department wherever I'm staying, and I use the lens and give it back. And this is a startup, and this is a business. They are innovating. Okay, there are so many bicycle companies, cycle companies, which are providing that last mile connectivity between the metro station to your home. As soon as you get on from a metro, use that bike using a app and leave it somewhere close by to your home, and somebody else will pick it up. These are all startups. Same meals I told you, Zomato and Swiggy, these kind of companies. Office space. Believe me, there are so many companies, you are aware that many people are cutting down office space and moving to shared spaces. So whenever somebody, he could be a sales guy, he could be an engineer, whatever, partly works from home, partly works from the shared space. There are some companies like WeWork and then 91 Springboard, and there are so many such companies emerging today. So build many floors of large buildings are being converted into shared office spaces. That is nothing but shared economy. There is another concept which is fairly intensive, but I just give you one example called the experience economy. Okay. When we go to today, I will take the example of tourism. When we go to, let us say, Goa. Earlier, I remember 20 years back when we go to Goa, we used to just go to the hotel, have some great food, do some scenery, of course, using some old type of cameras, take some pictures, just sit on the sand, play in the sand on the beaches, and then, enjoy some food on the beaches and come back. But today, youngsters and anybody wants to go and do parasailing, hand gliding, so many other sports. So this is what is experience economy. I took one experience economy example only for tourism. Today, so there is a whole lot of startups which are coming, which provide you this kind of a facility. Right from the same hotels, I gave you an example which I visited 20 years back. If today if a hotel says, I'll give you one plain room, nobody's interested. They want more facilities. They want to experience some thrills. They want to experience some excitement, some adventure. So this is what is experience economy. I'm talking. There is an experience economy even in your coffee. You can have a coffee for ₹5 by bringing some coffee beans, especially in Karnataka, the coffee capital of the country, where, we are big coffee drinkers. Bring the seeds from the coffee estates, grind it, and then use, and it will cost only ₹5. Okay. Or if you want in a good service joint like a Shiv Sagar in Mumbai or a Shanti Sagar in Bangalore, he will charge you ₹50. You are sitting very well in a beautiful table, and then maybe having a discussion with your friend. The same coffee. Okay, it will charge you ₹5, but people want to experience that. They are willing to pay ₹50 instead of that plain ₹5 in a small, roadside coffee joint. They want to pay. Further, why do we go to Starbucks or like a coffee day or a barista or whatever? Beautiful environment. Maybe some places there's music, there is Wi-Fi, there is maybe a library for some people to read books, some newspapers, whatever, and really you relax and have a discussion. And then that's what Starbucks experience and the Starbucks environment is all about. But they charge you nearly ₹180 to ₹200. Experience. Okay, people are willing to pay for that experience. That doesn't mean the smaller coffee joints will disappear. They will continue. But newer and newer experiences people want to taste. Okay, that is experience economy. And this trend is there in every sector, not just in tourism and food or whatever. Here, this is the biggest Starbucks joint in Beijing in China. Look at this. Who says that this is a coffee joint? It's a lovely place. You can have your meeting, you can read some books, music, Wi-Fi, everything. The biggest, supposed to be the biggest Starbucks joint in the world. Okay. So what are the factors driving experience economy? Especially the youngsters, the millennials and the Gen Z or the Gen X or the Gen Y. 64% of India's population this year, approximately, will be the people who are born between 1980s to now. These are the people, the youngsters are the people who will drive this experience economy. We want newer experience. We want our kids, at least for me, our kids, our children want newer experience. And the youngsters, you want newer experiences, excitement, new adventure. That is the new experience economy emerging. And what does it require? It requires startups. We will look at that. Experience is the number one differentiator. When you ask anybody, was your experience in Shiv Sagar drinking coffee better or is Starbucks better? Anybody will say Starbucks is better, but there's a price to that. They charge you almost 3 times of what a Shivsagar charges for coffee. It's a big differentiator. But there are people who will go to Starbucks for various reasons. So, what will drive this? Startups will drive this experience economy. And the technologies that are driving this experience economy are artificial intelligence, drones, IoT, smart cities. There are so many smart cities coming up across the country, 100 plus smart cities, social media, robotics. So, memorable events are the new products, which means if you have a great experience in Starbucks, that's your new product, not necessarily the coffee, because the same coffee is available in Shivsagar for 50 rupees, but the experience is the new product. Okay. Here's one. I think when one example I'll give you. Look at this. It's a short video.
Institute Gold Medal for the year 2019. Shashwat Shukla, the program of dual degrees of Bachelor of Technology and Master of Technology in Electrical Engineering.
So this was an experience. And when did this happen? This happened last year by IIT Mumbai during the COVID time. They wanted to give their students of the real experience of a convocation. Unfortunately, because of various lockdown and various restrictions, they could not conduct a convocation. So they conducted a virtual reality-based convocation where almost everybody collected their degree certificates in the way you saw this. They got this experience. So instead of posting the degree certificate and sending it by courier, and even if you send it with some fantastic gift or a packet or whatever it is, you will not get that experience. This is simple, and this was designed by a startup based in the IIT Mumbai itself. So this is what the future is. So we are not going to be shaken by a pandemic or whatever it is. The new trend is spending on experience. Youngsters, especially the millennials and the Gen Z that I talked about, you want to spend on experiences. You're not interested in products. Today you want to drive maybe a Innova. Tomorrow you want to drive a BMW. Day after tomorrow you want to drive a Mercedes. But you cannot afford to buy all three cars. But you want to experience that, right? And that is possible through shared economy or an experience economy, right? So there are many such examples. It's a beautiful thing. I thought I will introduce this new concept of experience economy to all of you. Okay, so the most underrated topic today, especially in the startup world, is leadership. Okay, youngsters are so enthusiastic. They want to change the world. They want to change the world. They want to do so many things. They want to do business. They want to earn money on their own. They want to innovate, whatever. But that is possible if you start as a youngster, start developing leadership skills. Here's a classic example which I studied. I did leadership. I studied leadership in the Harvard. So leadership is not a rank or privileges or titles or money. Leadership is about responsibility to investors, shareholders, employees, customers, and society. So what does it mean here? Which means you need to develop your leadership skills to be responsible. Somebody, whether it is your father or a bank or it's an investor, somebody will give you money to start. You need to show that responsibility. How responsible? Every paisa that you spend counts. You can't just go irresponsibly spend some money on a marketing campaign on Facebook or whatever without doing research. That's what it means. So it's a very intensive topic again, but I thought I'll give you some flavor because it's a very underrated topic. People don't want to pay attention. They think that they have a great idea, they can do everything. Yes, you can do everything, but pay attention on your leadership capabilities. Here's one example. If you want to work, hopefully everybody knows who this is. I thought I will use the most talked about. This was a young man some time back. If you want to walk fast, walk alone. But if you want to walk far, walk together. This is Mr. Ratan Tata's quote, and they have another quote. Businesses need to go beyond the interest of their companies to the communities they serve. Which means it's not only about generating profits. It's not only about you getting 1 crore, 2 crore salary. You need to be responsible to the community, to the society. You cannot have a factory somewhere in the Konkan region and which is polluting a river close by. Okay? You need to ensure that you are responsible to the environment, you are responsible to the society, your employees, your investors, your bankers, whoever it is. That is what is about leadership. I thought I'll give you this example because there's no better great example in India than these people. Of course, there are more, but I thought I'll just take one or two. There's one more which I loved, talking about. This is the chairman, earlier ex-chairman of Starbucks, who created this entire Starbucks empire. And the quote from him, I love this quote. Risk more than others think is safe. Dream more than others. Others think is practical. Okay. So this is about having a dream big and take risks. Many people in your journey will say that don't take risk. But if you are convinced about it, go ahead and take the risk. Okay. So without taking risk, there can never be growth. So now let me come to the last section of the startups, and more about definition of a startup, and then what do you need to do about startups and things like that. What is a startup? A startup is an organization formed to search for a repeatable and scalable business model. Please note what I have highlighted. It has to be a business. If you're doing something just for satisfaction and just for your experience, but if you're not generating profits, that is not a startup. Okay? If you need to startup, you need to keep an eye on your business, especially the young ones. I already talked about leadership. Especially if you're starting up, ensure that you start a business to make profits, to grow, to give back returns to your investors. That's what you need to keep an eye on. Another definition is an organization dedicated to creating an innovative solution under conditions of extreme uncertainty and do business. There are so many examples. Uber, the founder of Uber, was not getting a cab every day in, I think, in one of the cities. I don't know where, maybe somewhere in the US. He was not getting a cab. And he was getting late to office every day. So what did he do? One day he formed a small group of cab drivers, wrote a small app, and then suddenly his life changed. Those cab drivers started responding to his app, and they were there whenever he wanted a cab. That's how they began. So as a startup, please remember, you need to solve a problem, not create a problem, and solve it with innovation. Solve it innovatively. If you are copying somebody's idea, you're not innovative. That is not necessarily a startup. You're just become an entrepreneur. If somebody opens a mall, you also open a mall with a different painted color and a different name. You're not a startup. You're not innovating. Whereas you open a mall or a grocery store with using some new technology, some scanners and some maybe some robotic devices or whatever it is. That is innovation. That is a startup. Otherwise, you are just an entrepreneur. No harm in being just an entrepreneur. Okay, remember this example I'm giving you. I'm also further. What is the difference between an entrepreneur and a startup? Entrepreneur is more about setting up a new business or self-employment. The goals are predominantly financial. Somebody, let's say, I'm interested in sports, so I open up a beautiful showroom, a Nike and a Puma showroom somewhere in one of the malls. That is, I am just self-employment. I'm becoming an entrepreneur. That is not a startup. But then there's no harm in that. But there is a significant difference. Startup is about innovation and disruption, solving problems that no one has solved earlier. Sometimes revolutionary. Financial goals are not the ultimate. You have to be, responsible financially, but that is not the only goal. Okay, so clearly understand the difference between entrepreneurship and a startup. So if you want to start up, the simplest mantra is do your research, find out what problem you're solving, and innovate. Okay, you can innovate in whichever way, using technology, using some new product, using some new service, whatever. But you have to innovate. The biggest startup, if you ask me, but the oldest startup are the Dabbawalas in Mumbai. They came up with a great innovation model. Yeah, I'm told they are nearly 70, 80 years old. They innovated. They solved a big problem of carrying tiffin boxes in the train and the tiffins getting cold, the food getting cold. There's no better example than that, which was a startup. There are so many such examples. I gave you that example especially for the Mumbai audience. So, if you're thinking of a startup, if you want to be in a startup, if you want to start a startup, ensure that you know what a startup ecosystem is. Don't become an island. If you are a startup, there's a whole ecosystem around that. There are investors and venture capitalists. When I say investors, it could be bankers, sometimes even the government, it could be even the college institutions are today investing in startups. Customers are there, partners are there, who could be your channel partners, or it could be your technology partner. Government is there, not just for licenses or whatever, even for as government can be as a customer, government can be as a incubation for various reasons. And then there are corporates, R&D organizations, and many MNC and educational institutions. Today, many education. In fact, I am also, advising some institutions in the Mumbai region. They are promoting startups. So, what this slide means is, as a startup, you need to ensure that you are connected with all the constituents of this ecosystem by either individually or somebody in your organization needs to have some contacts at least in most of these parts of this ecosystem. If you start a startup and if nobody knows how to go to a customer, what good is it? Right? You have to have at least a mentor, or you should know who your customers are. You should start connecting with the customers. And if you start a startup and if you don't have money, you should be able to have at least some contact and some kind of a relationship with the investors. Right? So this is what ecosystem means. There could be some more parts of the ecosystem, but these are the major parts of the ecosystem. Okay, look at the Indian system. When I started, I would say, doing research in the startup ecosystem in 2014. Okay, when just before startup India came into picture, there were just 3,000 startups, 3,000 odd, and most of them were in Bangalore. Most of them, because Bangalore continues to be the IT capital or the Silicon Valley of India, or the startup capital of India, or whatever you call it, or the innovation capital of India. There are only 3,000 odd startups in 2014. Just see this. In 7 years, we have 55,000. In fact, it's growing. It's almost nearing now 60,000. This slide is of July. In some 3-4 months, already we have 4,000-5,000 startups added. nearing 60,000. And we are the third largest startup ecosystem in the world. Okay, so from 3,000 to 55 plus thousand plus startups in just 7 years. No doubt, fantastic support from the government. I think this is something which we really appreciate, especially on a Azadi ka Amrut Mahotsav occasion. I think the government has done a terrific job in promoting entrepreneurship and startups, because that's the future. Why is America a leading economy? Because they promote entrepreneurship, because startups are mushrooming in the country. Similarly, many other countries today are, providing great emphasis on innovation and startups, because governments cannot keep on feeding jobs, and the same are the corporates. Newer jobs can come up only if there is innovation, only if startups come up. Okay, so be a job creator, not a job seeker. Be a job giver, not a job seeker. So if you innovate, if you um, get into a startup or use startup, you will become a job giver, which means you could be only one person, but you are creating 4, 5 more jobs. That's enough. Okay. So this is, so what is the picture for the next, let's say 5 years? We are going to have 100,000 startups. The way at which you are growing, you see, in 7 years we have added 50,000 startups, and the same growth continues by 2000, another 3 or 4 years we will have 100,000 jobs, 100,000 startups, and today we have nearing 60 unicorns. Unicorn means $1 billion, which is almost 7,500 crores valuation. And today we have 60 unicorns. I remember in 2014 we had no unicorn at all. By 2017 we had 3 or 4 unicorns. I think maybe 7 or 8 unicorns. And today we have 60 unicorns. All of them are doing IPOs and really creating thousands of jobs. So this is a great future for the startup world. Okay, so startups at a glance, I already talked about. I think, see, even today, almost 40% of the startups are based in Bangalore. You see the map on the right side. Startups, having 40% of that. Next is Bombay and Delhi, and then of course Chennai, Hyderabad, and Pune. Okay. So this is just a picture of how many today. As I said, 58 unicorns. We already crossed 60. And 150 plus unicorns we will have by 2025. So this is a great time to start up. This is a great time to innovate. Okay, this is a great time to become an entrepreneur. But all these require some of the skills that I told you. You need to develop that innovative mindset. You need to have the leadership capability to go and sit in front of an investor and seek money. Okay. So what should you do? I am coming to the last few slides. Connect with people. There is, I think, the way Narendraji connected with me and asked for some, advice on how, on the startup. You need to connect with your mentors. You need to connect with your institution. It could be your co-founder. It could be your boss, or it could be a professor. Anybody. Connect and find out. Seek advice how to start up. Get a mentor. Mentor can be again somebody who has some knowledge of the topic that you want to start upon. Trigger thoughts, innovate. I emphasize on innovation. Innovate, innovate, innovate. Be passionate. If your interest is in aircrafts, don't go and do a startup in solar panels or some such unrelated topics. Always choose something which you are passionate about. That goes a long way in helping you succeed. Understand latest trends. Today, the way the technologies are changing, you need to be up to date almost on a daily basis. Come up with ideas and solutions. Talk to potential customers. Develop the ecosystem. I already showed you the slide. What the ecosystem is, what an ecosystem means. Don't become an island in the center. connect with all the surrounding parts of the ecosystem. Be disruptive or let disruption happen to you. If you don't acquire new skills, if you're not up to date on this, somebody will disrupt you. Means your business will be taken away. You need to be innovative and passionate and understand the latest technologies and skills. Skills for the digital economy. This is generally for the youngsters. Today, whether it is a startup or if you're seeking a corporate job or a job in a MNC or in a wherever, I think you need to ensure you have these skills: public speaking, storytelling, customer care and service, critical thinking, conflict resolution. Conflict resolution, I'm just taking as one example. I don't want to elongate this presentation more. Conflict resolution. One of the reasons many startups fail, many businesses fail, because two partners are fighting with each other for various reasons. It could be financial, it could be whatever reason. Conflict resolution is something you will be able to, with a calm and peaceful mind, resolve this the dispute. Okay, this is a skill that you need to acquire. Art of selling and marketing, project management, art of negotiation, leadership. I emphasize, pay attention to leadership. This leadership skill is not just for youngsters. Everybody needs to pay attention on leadership. I've seen people demonstrating arrogance. Nobody will tolerate arrogance today. But if you know what leadership is all about, all those things will be kept aside. Job landscape, data analysts and scientists. I think some of the technologies I talked about, I think these technologies, these jobs revolve around that. And many of them, they are not only technology jobs. Like, for example, sales and marketing professionals. Today, even if you are not a technology student or like a engineer or a BSc computer science, you need to understand some trends so that you can position yourself as a new age marketing professional. Okay, so these are some of the jobs landscape, and this is from World Economic Forum. I just thought I will give you a flavor of this. Okay, so you understand how the technology jobs are, how the job landscape is evolving. Okay, thank you very much, and appreciate and really thank you, Narendra ji, for giving me this opportunity. I think it's a great opportunity in the occasion of Azadi ka Amrut Mahotsav, and wish you all the best. And if anybody wants to connect with me, I think Narendra ji will ensure my contact is displayed so that you can get in touch with me on email or connect with me on LinkedIn. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Uday Birje. It was a wonderful presentation, and our series Swatantra Bharat 75, which is on the 75th year of India's independence, is truly will be benefited by this your speech today, your discussion. We had some questions, but in the process of your, as you rightly said, in the presentation, all the questions were answered. So there is no need of any additional questions. It was very comprehensive. And thanks a lot for joining us. Once again, we'll keep associated and spread this word to all the people.